Last Saturday at Keyworth Stadium, Detroit City FC managed to split the points against Monterey Bay thanks to the talents of Carlos Herrera, who was named to the UPSL Team of the Week. The next day, down in San Antonio at Toyota Field, Gerald Margarita provides some late-minute magic as Phoenix Rising gets their first win of the year over San Antonio FC. The two teams collide tonight in the desert for some after-dark action on Soccer Night in Detroit.
Don't leave him alone. Don't let him shoot like that. Can Nate Steinwasser deliver? Of course!
Tonight it's Soccer After Dark from Rising Stadium in Phoenix, Arizona, as Phoenix Rising plays host to Detroit City FC.
A little different venue for us today as Detroit City, and a little different day for us as we are recording on a Wednesday as opposed to the day of the game. That is because there is a late night match that we'll be talking about.
To quote David Byrne from The Talking Head, this is not our usual place or a beautiful house or something like that.
How did
we get here?
How did we get here? Well,
I'll tell you the truth. Usually, and here's a little bit cheating, we're recording this on Wednesday because usually we're at the City Clubhouse to do these tapings of our pregame show to air an hour before pregame. Well, the Saturday game, Madcat mentioned it, is on a Saturday night, 10 o'clock Detroit time, 7 o'clock Phoenix time.
And a plethora of channels you can watch this game on. And listen to it, by the way.
Yes, and the game will not be streamed at the City Clubhouse. It's closed at top mode time. But there is an official watch party at the Woodward Avenue Brewery in Ferndale, Michigan. It's on Woodward Avenue in the southeast corner of Woodward 9 Mile, next to the Loving Touch and the former Emily Bar. You could watch that. I don't know what time it will get joined. Probably 8:30, 9 o'clock.
I'm not sure what time the watch party will be.
10 o'clock.
10 o'clock is 10 o'clock's the game, but watch party probably get going about 9-ish or whatever it is. So it's hard to do a watch party on say like New Dodge and all that because they got bands going on nights and stuff like that.
And we can't do a record of if there's a noisy part, so that would have been unfeasible. So
absolutely,
this is the reason why we're here.
Beautiful place.
Very place. It's been here for almost 15 years. I've been here.
A refurbished building, from what I can tell from the outside of the building. They still got the old cigarette advertisement on the front door with the hours.
I know.
But it's a nice little bar, right across the street from Kelly's Bar, which I've hung out there a couple times after matches as well. Great area, Hamtramck. We're gonna miss it obviously when we move down to the new
Corktown Stadium.
The new settings down in Michigan and 20th. But
we'll probably still call it the Corktown Stadium until they get named a sponsor. And I saw our next opponent, Rhode Island, had a corporate sponsor named to their new stadium.
Yes.
The Regional Bank Stadium. It was on my Facebook. I can't remember it there, but we'll be there when it get there.
Alumni 5 Stadium?
No, I don't think. No,
well, I'm just speculating for Detroit City, of course.
Or it could be Fago Field at DMC Park, or DMC Park at Alumni Stadium. Who knows? We'll be down the road.
Yeah, it's a few years down the road, much like Pro Rel, much like Division One, much like everything else.
But let's get to the game this week.
Yes, a team that surprised a lot of people Sunday afternoon down in San Antonio. They came away with 3 big points, and let's just say a one player that made it his own personal paradise. Gerald Margarita.
Wow.
Toyota Field, Margaritaville, with the goal to give Phoenix Rising the 2-1 victory over San Antonio SC. Now, grant you look at the form for for
Phoenix,
for Phoenix Rising.
It's been up and down. They've been. This is their first victory, and the first league of the game, which was last week, was actually the first time they led all season.
Yes, it was, and There was a game a couple weeks back in which they almost performed a Lansing United, shall we say, but no red cards were handed out.
I was going to say.
No red cards were handed out to El Paso.
No.
However, they were down. El Paso was up by 3 goals. They came back in the second half, scored 3 goals.
Yes.
And split the points with El Paso Locomotive. So
yes,
this is a side.
You're right.
This is a side that is not going to lay over and play dead.
No, and don't forget the goal of the year, which was the 4-4 equalizer, which was scored by Mohamed Torres, the 86th minute golazo from way downtown Maine.
That was a banger.
And a goal of the year candidate, must I say?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think we highlighted that.
Yes.
What do you call it? Around the sea.
Around the sea, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean that was a banger there. And like I said, that capped off the night. 4-4. You know, points lost for El Paso Locomotive and points gained. You know, ended up splitting the point that night down in El Paso. But Remy Cabral, one of the players to watch for, top scorer on the year with 3 goals.
Yes.
He added one on Sunday in the nationally televised game. By the way, that nationally televised game, I was reading on Beyond the 90, almost 700,000 people.
Wow. Watch the game on
at
CBS,
one point during the game. An average of 444,000 viewers for the game.
I know.
But at its peak point, over 770,000 viewers to watch that game on CBS linear, CBS national TV.
Yes,
with Devin Kerr and
Mike Watts
on the call, and it was the first half seemed a little boring.
Yeah.
Second half, though, I mean, all kinds of excitement going on. You had penalty, Cabral with the penalty, and then later on, San Antonio got a penalty inside the box himself. Penalty inside the box himself. There was also a controversial call.
Oh my! What was the call?
Well, a San Antonio player went down. It looked like incidental contact at first, you think. But, bodies got together. There was a little trippage there, but the referee decided
play on.
Oh my. No penalty, and it pissed off a lot of San Antonio faithful.
Oh my.
And unfortunately for them, they ended up coming up on the short end of a 2-1 result for Phoenix Rising.
And this was literally March Madness. Remember, March Madness was at San Antonio this year.
That's why the game was played. That's why this game was played on a Sunday in San Antonio on CBS.
On CBS. Thank God. Unfortunately, San Antonio lost the ball, unlike Houston, in the last minute of the championship game. Oh my! Man.
But yeah, and this is a team that's going to be, as I mentioned, this is not a team that's going to lay down and play dead against us. And, of course, we know we've been struggling as of late as far as getting goals into that. In fact, last Saturday or last Sunday.
You're right.
Last Saturday, 0-0 draw against and then
Monterey Bay.
Against Monterey Bay. And then, of course, the no goals against Louisville City the week before. So a little bit of a...
We have a 3-hour scoreless streak of 2 games. Remember, the last time we went scoreless that long was the 10-hour goalless streak that lasted games until we finally scored one.
Yeah, it was a while. It was a little while. And, I mean, grant you the defense stepped up. Kudos to Carlos Herrera.
Yes, named goaltender of the week in the team of the week for week 5.
Yes, congratulations to him. Outstanding performance, as we mentioned. We thought he was the man of the match on Saturday afternoon. FOTMOP otherwise, but that's FOTMOP.
That's FOTMOP when he's back. I was researching FOTMOP. By the way, Colorado team of the week, according to the stat, 3 saves, 11 recoveries, 75%, completing 75% of his passes in the entire game. But that was not the only player in this game that also was honored in USLC. Jerry Margaritaville.
Margaritaville.
Yes, he scored his first goal in 68 minutes. He had 4-1, 3 interceptions, 2 recovery, 2 foul, 1, and head coach Paula Moakai. That's how he pronounce the name.
One of the 8 new coaches in the Western Conference this year, and we talk about the Western Conference polo fight ad nauseum here.
Yeah.
And the number of coaching changes that has occurred in that conference this year, it's like it's
three-quarters of the West.
Two-thirds of the West. Two-thirds of the Western Conference change hands.
And not only that, this is their fourth head coach of Phoenix Rising in the last 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You had that one.
And the previous coach won a championship back in 2023.
You're right. Yeah, and we got him from Oakland. Remember when his last game with Oakland was against us, and then he was put on leave when rumors was surrounding he was going to join Oakland. He's no longer there. He's now an assistant in Houston.
Oh,
the team we beat in the U.S. Open Cup last year.
Interesting news
Very
there.
Interesting news. Oh, speaking of head coaches changing, there was one before I got here. The the manager of Birmingham parted ways with the Birmingham Legion team.
Birmingham has been struggling.
Yes.
Let's just say that for the last month or so. I mean, they came in here, obviously got the draw against us. They lost in the Open Cup to trying to think of the team.
Open Cup. I can't remember the team.
Little Rock Rangers.
Little Rock Rangers. They lost to brother.
They lost to them. Came into Keyworth, drew against Detroit City on that afternoon, thanks to an own goal by Stephen Carroll. Set piece, mind you, which got in the scrum. However, they've been struggling all year long, and especially with the clout of players that they brought in. You bring in a Ronaldo Damas, you bring in a Danny Trejo. You already got
and they're not clicking.
You already got established players on your team. It's like Juan David Torres.
Only 4 goals in the entire season. They have them in up 8.
Yeah.
So they've been struggling.
They've had their opening schedule has been a gauntlet, for themselves, but obviously drawing against Louisville, drawing against Detroit City, you figured, with the firepower that's brought in there, those could end up being wins. That didn't end up happening. Tactics maybe. Love to see what Kaler has to say about it. He's, good follow on Blue Sky.
Right.
We'll find out what he has to say about the impending coaching changes as we go along.
Okay. So let's move on. But before we move on, I forgot to do this. Our match day tope.
Our tradition.
Yeah,
tradition.
I mentioned this last week. I'm not being paid for Fago, near us, or Madcat. We just love stuff. It's from Detroit, and they have created all the classic flavors like grape bread, pop, rock, and rye, and all that movements and all that. And they have done a lot of flavor pops and flavor juices. And this one, I bring you the second of the 2 new pops. Superman Pop, inspired by Superman ice cream.
A Michigan favorite for so many years.
Yes, it was invented by a Detroiter, and every time I think of Superman stuff, I'm thinking all those Superman movies, especially mostly the Superman movies from Christopher Reeve. By the way, favorite in order.
Rest in peace.
Yes, favorite in order, 2, 1, 4, 3.
Ah, jeez.
Superman 2 is my favorite. And this is one of their other flavors before.
Oh, this is another one.
Jolly Green Apple.
I like the apple here.
Yeah. So
cheers to you. Cheers to you. Cheers to another week of Detroit City.
And another game day. And speaking of Detroit City, if you are following Detroit City on the social, they made an announcement on their social, flashing back to the first international friendly we have of FC United Manchester, formed by the Breakaway Group. And near the end of it, they said on Thursday, and we're recording this on Wednesday, they have named the international friendly that will be announced tomorrow. And we're recording this on Wednesday. So
let's take a look at
that. For the magic of editing,
let's take a look at that opponent
who right now. Team will be. Roll it.
Across right, steps back and shoots. The ball is loose. Lawson steps through. Lawson with the cross to Oman. Through Mexican. On the move. Mexican finds a back of the net.
should be exciting times coming up this summer down at Keyworth Stadium.
Yeah.
Looking forward to another international friend. I was at the one last year
Yes.
with Pumas, and that was my first ever international friendly.
Yes, I enjoy these international friendly. I know it's sort of like an exhibition, like any exhibition game at the start of the season for all our former Rangers. But this is good for the team who is traveling because the season's going to start. Last year was Pumas USA, and let me tell you, Pumas USA, Pumas was one of the best. Like I said, I was happy because I like their logos, which I always thought it was a bear, but actually
it's a Puma. It's actually a Puma.
It's a mountain lion.
Yep.
Not a Puma. I'm sorry, it's not a mountain lion.
But I ended up grabbing one of their kits because they look so sick.
Oh,
and mind you, look at those Liga MX kits. They remind you of being a Formula One driver, or Americanized a little bit, being a NASCAR driver.
Okay.
With all the sponsors and different types of sponsors. I mean, where we have the one on the front and the one in the back. They have like about 7 different types of sponsors on their jerseys. But the kit, oh my God, it looks sick. That that sky blue kit that they had last year at that friendly, I loved it. I loved it so much I bought one. So
I love that crest, by the way.
It is a good
the
crest.
Puma crest. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And the fact that it's right in the middle, standing out front instead
at you,
instead of having the badge on the side with the logo up front.
Yes.
That's pure class.
And you have the Puma mountain lion staring at you saying, dude, it's going to be a fight. And, hey, we took them to the fight.
I've been watching Pumas a little bit on the, I mean, they're currently in the CONCACAF Champions Cup taking on Vancouver Whitecaps in that competition. Just dabbling in. I got them. I follow them on FotMup as well. But good organization. The fan base, oh my God. That fan base was electric.
Oh, yeah. And
the trading back and forth between them and the Northern Guard, it was just tremendous. And I've been told that, usually they don't allow smoke in the family section. Trust me, it wasn't enforced that day. Somebody gave them a couple smoke bombs.
Yeah,
from the Northern Guard, which was pretty cool in my. And
I will say this right now: Pumas have an international following. When I saw the across the street of the Puma section, they have fan club from Chicago, here in Detroit, New York, Los Angeles, Las Vegas, Houston.
All kinds of supporters from everywhere, and I'll tell you what, it made for an electric atmosphere, a fun day at Keyworth, a memorable day at Keyworth,
very memorable.
And we're sure to have the memories.
Yeah, you're right.
Pop up once again.
One more thing. I have almost followed almost every club we have faith on in international play. But one of the teams I have followed is St. Pauli, who's battling for the stay in the first division of the Bundesliga because they played us. It was also near Puma's level, also magical celebration because it is left wing football. They are probably the most liberal football team.
A lot of people are saying otherwise because of some stances that they have made in the past, and it has been mentioned, by people in our circle about it. I would rather not comment about it personally. Being on on this platform. However, I may not agree with some of what St. Pauli has done or is doing nowadays, and a lot of people have been a lot of Detroit City supporters who supported St. Pauli have drawn back as far as their allegiance to them.
All right.
In fact, they'll be. But I'll leave it at that.
I'm a supporter, nonetheless. You know what I mean?
You watch it for the football, which I respect. And that's what I did with Pumas too. And even though with all the the BS going on with MLS and Liga MX and all the Leagues Cup stuff.
Like the Leagues Cup stuff.
With America, especially with the U.S. Open Cup and all that stuff. I like Pumas and all that stuff. Great supporters, great fans, and I'll follow them in the Liga MX, even though I don't really watch. And just dab it and just check on them every once in a while.
So the big question: who will be that team? Do you have any info at West Street and on news?
We just said that. We just said that a couple of hours ago.
Okay.
About these international friendlies, it'll bring an opportunity that'll bring some players from the academy
That's really nice. Give the
Yeah.
guys a day off.
Yeah, give some of the
in the
guys,
league.
maybe bring up a couple guys, and segueing into that, the UPSL
Oh, yes.
season
Yeah.
gets underway this week. In fact, it started earlier it's starting this today.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact,
Well,
they are FC Olympic will be taking on Detroit City FC2 in competition in the UPSL. They're playing in the Premier Division,
yes.
or whatever it is. They have 10 games on their schedule
Yes.
for the year. And of course, they're playing their games at a different venue this year.
Yeah, I was checking the schedule for it. It made me interesting. I thought they were going to play at Martin Luther King High School, which is across the street from the clubhouse, but they're playing their games at 6th and McNichols, and guess where it is? What place is at 6th and McNichols? University of Detroit Jesuit College on their big soccer field.
Yes. Where one great goalkeeper used to hone his talents at, as a matter of fact.
And that guy is named Nate, right?
I believe that the guy's name is Nate, and I have run into him maybe once in the off season, his retirement down at the media end. But yeah, a guy named great guy, wonderful children,
great family man,
great family, great family. CPA, by the way.
And he was a CPA while he was playing.
Speaking of CPAs, you want to find somebody that can help you out with taxes? That would be the man right there.
That would be the man. Yes.
But nonetheless, it's a lot of it's another opportunity. It helps develop some of these young players that are coming along. I mean, you see players such as Le Jope, I think it was a developmental player. Dominic Gasso, as you know.
Yes.
We saw a couple guys last year played with us in the international friendly against Pumas.
Yes.
As well, that came from the
UPSL.
Yeah, and played some minutes. Played some minutes in that friendly. And but it's a good chance to they don't play as many games as it's a shortened season, different. But there's opportunities in the area which you can watch these games at. In fact, one of the teams that they are playing there's Detroit United on there. They play a couple games against them.
Duca FC, one of the team. Intra United,
FC Olympic, obviously on there. Alonzo FC. So a lot of sort of academy teams of football clubs amongst the world and stuff like that.
And by the way, if you have not been to the University of Detroit football field, it's across the street from Callie Hall, where the USD Mercy team. You could ask Neil; he's there once a year for
at least once a year.
And the neighborhood is very nice. It's very nice. It's very quiet.
I've been by the U of D.
It's within a neighborhood and all that.
Historical fact.
Oh, what's the historical fact?
University of Detroit Stadium was the original home of your former Portsmouth Spartans, now known as
the Detroit Lions.
Yes, they played games there up until 1938 when they moved into what was Briggs Stadium, soon became Tiger Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
And that was where the professional football team that we know and love around here got their start, was at the University of Detroit Stadium.
Yes.
Another opponent of theirs and I'll be making a trip to doing this, and I'm going to announce this right now.
Okay.
On June 7th, Detroit City FC2 will be traveling to Brighton.
Oh.
To take on a team called Detroit Metro SC. Now, how in the hell? Okay, I get it. Brighton is part of the Detroit Metro area. I get it. But how in the hell you call yourselves Detroit Metro FC and play your games in Brighton at Legacy Center?
Oh, brother. Brother.
Why don't you call yourselves, or call yourselves Seagulls FC or something like that?
That's the frustrating part.
Or Bulldog FC. Graduated Brighton High School in 1989.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
But I have to mention this. Remember when the Pistons and the Lions played in the suburbs? The Lions with Pontiac, and the Pistons also in Pontiac, and then Auburn Hills before they came back home They came back home. You know what I mean? And they said, why they're not called the Auburn Hills Pistons or the Pontiac Lions or anything like that. But also it irked me.
A great sportscaster from back in the day used to call them the Pontiac Pussycats because they were so bad.
Oh, yeah.
But I digress.
Was it Ray Lane or Al Ackerman?
Actually, a cohort of Al Ackerman back in the days at Channel 7, one Bob Page.
Oh, yes, Bob Page.
And he used to do a sports talk show with Don Kim.
Don Kim, both Sports View Today, one of the most. Used to air on Channel 62. You'll
find those episodes on YouTube, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, you'll see a lot of old sports names like sportscasters. Even Keith Karpinski, who grew up here in Hamtramck, played for UPSL, won a championship at Penn State. It's also on that. I highly recommend it. Back to the glory days of basic athlete cable.
But like you said, a lot of these home games that are going to be taking place for Detroit City's SC2 will be taking place at University of Detroit, mostly on Sundays and all day. I think
at 12 noonish.
At 12 noonish, and like I said, the one game that I'll be going to over at Legacy, that is I think it's a 7 o'clock kickoff. I'm not sure if I can remember correctly. I have to look up the website when I get a chance. But it is a Saturday game, and I'll be attending and hopefully get some words with some of the coaching staff, including Brad Dunwell.
Yes, who's the manager? Who's the gaffer
of this squad? Tyler McManus also heavily part of this squad as well, and like I said, a feeder system for Detroit City SC, and hopefully it will bring us the new stars that will, add to the club's future.
And also a good feeder system for a lot of the former players like Brad Gella and Cal Anderson, who just played with the women's team. They're coaching the new generation, and I see them in the future making great coaches here in that 2 team or the first.
Good way to earn your coaching licenses as well. So
you have to be licensed to coach in the U.S.
In any form of soccer. Any form of professional soccer. Okay. All right, speaking of professional soccer, let's get back into it.
Okay.
The predictions? The predictions, we pretty much lost out last week, so it's still the same.
We crapped out. I said they were going to win 2-1.
I said 1-0. I should have went with the draw because I had my little leery feeling that it was going to be a draw, but then I decided to go 1-0, but that didn't happen, unfortunately. So still stays the same. Steve's on top with 12 points.
I know.
All right, looking into this thing. Phoenix is on a roll after that victory. They're going to be playing at home. Is that going to be enough?
Well, you could say could be enough, but you don't want to let down. And unfortunately, City is looking for a get-right game, by the way. They're looking to hopefully break out their scoring slump. Phoenix not doing a great start before the San Antonio game. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna say 3-1.
3-1?
Yeah.
City?
Yeah, 3-1 City.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Now the road has been good for Detroit City, sans Louisville City this year.
Yeah.
Big win over in Miami, big win over in Colorado Springs. Home has not been the elixir it needs to be.
Nope. 2 points there.
Maybe going away from home might be an advantage there.
Yep.
But I'm really banking on the fact that this Phoenix team can surprise you a little bit there. If you come away with a point, great. If you come away with 3 points, that's even better for Detroit City. And just showing the strength that hey, we got some players. We can strike. I need some slumps broken. I need to see Ben Morris scoring. I need to see Darren Smith scoring. I need to see Connor Rutz. I need to see Jordan Abadiah. I want to see Jordan Abadiah Smith score. But until I can see that, I'm gonna go draw on this one. Okay. Probably a 1-1 draw.
All right.
Because until we know we get the firepower right. I know the road's been a great elixir for Detroit City so far this year. I think you got to be able to walk before you can. You got to be able to crawl before you can walk, and I think we're at the crawling stage. Sadly, at this point, defensively we're strong, goaltending we're strong, midfield we're okay. But we just got the thing is finishing at the end of the match, and Detroit hasn't been finishing as of late. Okay. That's why I'm going to go with the 1-1 draw.
Okay, well, very interesting. We'll see who. We'll see what happens. Before I go, and I would mean to do this the last few weeks. If you haven't got your official 2025 scarf, here is that we have to show you the front.
Oh, absolutely.
It's the front.
the front of it, you notice the lights?
Yes.
They're still like that.
Yes.
They're still like that. I see that when I walk into Keyworth every game that we go there.
And this marked the 10 years of Keyworth Stadium.
Yes.
Which will sadly be abandoning in about a couple of years.
Yeah.
But hey, the back of it, perfect metaphor.
Yeah.
Very perfect
That's
metaphor.
the one. That's the side I have prominent on your set, back in the hacienda. But yeah, you look at this.
Yes.
This is what it's all about. Folks.
Very nice.
This is what it's
Keyworth sunsets and all that. It's a perfect metaphor because next year we'll be leaving the stadium for our new Corktown stadium. So
we'll see. We'll see what happens. With the possibility of the demolition of the hospitals.
Yes, all right.
Occurring in August. Hopefully, it'll be, God willing, we'll see that structure start to develop on the corner of Michigan and 20th. Okay. And as you're coming off 70, or as you're coming off 75, going 75 north, or going down 75 south off of 96 there in Corktown in Mexican Town, I would just to see the fruition of that. That
will be the great fruition. I can't wait for the scarf logo for this one, for the new stadium.
Absolutely.
Let's do some house claiming. Team news, you're going to be doing it solo as well as after hours, right?
Yeah, well, team news, we're just going to put it up. We're just going to put it out on the Faithful page. We're just going to share the lineups as far as that goes. After hours, Sunday morning. Look for it Sunday morning.
And you're going to be doing it solo because I live in Hamtramck. I can't drive.
Yeah, we're gonna do. I'm gonna do after hours from the hacienda Sunday morning. Ways you can see the game.
CW Detroit 50, 10 o'clock. If you're not near a TV or you're out for a gig, you could always watch it on PC at cbsdetroit.com.
In Michigan.
Yeah, sorry, Ohio, you're still not eligible unless you have a powerful antenna from Toledo. Also, you can see it on the CBS Detroit, CBS News app. Just click on the CBS News app, click local, click on CBS News Detroit, and when you see the watch live Detroit City against Phoenix Rising game, you're there. But there's a little bit different for the online, national online. It's not on ESPN. It's on
CBS Sports Golazo. You can catch the game there. It's available on any smart TV that you can get. You can get it on Pluto TV as well.
And the web browser as well, too.
Yep, absolutely. CBS and Paramount Plus as well. You can they have Golazo network listed on there as well, in which you can actually watch the game on your phone. And, leave it in the background. If you want to just listen to the game, you can leave it in the background and all that fun stuff.
And the game of the week on Sirius XM FC, whatever.
Sirius XM FC channel 157. For those of you who have that, I'm a subscriber myself. Great content on that channel. Of course, USL All Access on that channel. Another great soccer program I listen to on there is Winalda Talks Football. They talk a little bit about USL and all that stuff on there. Great guys on there. Eric Ronaldo and Jason Davis.
Eric Ronaldo, yes. I love Eric Ronaldo, and he has been one of the most about promotion and relegation and the U.S. Open Soccer Cup. He's very good. You got to see his video content. And by the way, I also did listen to the new episode of, all right, I'm going to say, USL, like with Devin and Mike, and they had a good interview with the management from Tampa Bay Rowdies, who is playing in their first home game at Al Lang Stadium after
wish them well, of course.
Remodeling it after the two hurricanes.
After being the vagabond team of 2025 after those two devastating hurricanes occurred down in the Tampa Bay, Fort Lauderdale area.
Yeah, they completed the home season, although with LMJ, but it's so happy to be back at their home stadium.
Yeah, absolutely.
They are, what you say, that unlike the Tampa Bay Rays, which they're playing in Tampa Bay.
They're playing Tampa Bay at
the roof has been ripped.
Field.
Yeah,
as a matter of fact,
the roof is ripped off. You have to see the picture of that. They still have no roof. They did approve.
That was going to be the shall we say, that was going to be the temporary field for the Rowdies, except for the fact that it was also a facility for FEMA that they were going to use during the hurricane.
But that wasn't unusable, unfortunately.
It ended up being unusable.
Yeah,
but enough of that. Yes, we can wrap it up, and we'll talk, like I said, after hours, Sunday morning.
He's doing it solo, not me.
Yep. after our Sunday morning for that one.
And I will see you next for
we will
night.
see you next Wednesday night from Keyworth Stadium as we get ready for an Open Cup matchup against
between Westchester FC. I got it right this time.
Yes.
Didn't confuse it with Hank Westchester. Sorry, Hank.
Mind you, well, I don't know. Wait for the teas on Wednesday. We'll let you know what's up as far as that goes. We'll let you know about the teas, for Wednesday.
Okay.
Just stay tuned for the teas on Wednesday. Just say that next Wednesday. Right. But we'll be back for Open Cup action next Wednesday from Keyworth Stadium. Until we meet again, folks, keep your feet on the ground. Keep reaching for the galaxy.